So this is a question that you can solve in multiple ways. So let's go ahead and subtract this 15 from both sides. 2x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. And I'm going to go to my TI-84, and if that's what you have, TI-84 plus, and a lot of students do, most of you do, TI-84 plus, and I'm going to use polysymbol to solve this. So on your TI-84, hit Apps, and then scroll down to polysymbol, and then you're going to hit Root Finder. It's probably the first choice on your calculator, choice number 1. And once you hit that, it's going to say order, real. Just keep everything the same. Probably make sure the order is 2. For this one, the order refers to the exponent on that one. On the 24, your first component here, first coefficient. And then leave everything else the same. Most likely it's going to be real numbers. You're going to have decimals. And then hit next. And enter the numbers as you see them. 24, 2, negative 15, and hit solve. When you hit solve, it's going to tell you x equals 0.75 or x equals negative 0.83. Which one is the bigger number? 0.75, A. Now let's say you don't know how to do that on your calculator. You don't have your calculator. Let's go over some other options. Odds are, if you know how to do it on your calculator, you probably know how to do it without using the calculator as well. But you can complete the square, or you can kind of plug and chug, Nike math, just do it. So let's try that. This one's a difficult one to factor, I think. So, 24, you can have 1, 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. With 15, you can have 5 and negative 3, or negative 5 and negative 3. But if we look at this 2, right, it's positive. We know it's probably going to be 5, negative 3. You could have 1 and 15, but that's not going to work. So we can go ahead and say most likely that we're going to have a 5, negative 3. And this is kind of where looking at your answers comes in helpful. Comes in handy. You get 4, 3, 6, 6. You get a lot of the 4, 3, 6s. So I'm going to try, and let's just say 4 and 6. So 6x plus 5, 4x minus 3. And then we can FOIL that out to see what we get. So we get 24x squared. We know that's what we're going to get there. And then we get outer is going to be minus 18x, enter plus 20x, and then last minus 15. And so that's going to give us 24x plus 2x minus 15. Great, that's what we were looking for. Now, if that didn't work, you could try different numbers. Just kind of use intuition to see what that would be. So now that means we have 6x. Let's make that a little bit nicer. We have 6x plus 5 equals 0. And we have 4x minus 3 equals 0. So we solve for x in each of these. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides and divide by 6. And we get to x equals negative 5, 6. And on this one, we add 3 to both sides and divide by 4. X equals 3/4. Which one is the bigger one? X equals 3/4, still A. So, and there's a couple other ways you can do this. It can be a tricky math problem, but it has lots of shortcuts to it depending on how you worked it in your math classes. This is another example of one you can use your calculator on. So if you put sine of 60 plus times cosine of 30 plus cosine of 60 times sine of 30 in your calculator and hit enter, you're going to get 0.8939. And then you can put each of these into your calculator as well. So the first one, cosine 60 minus 30, you're going to get 0.154. That is not 8.39, so that one's out. The second one, put it straight in your calculator. you get negative 0.448, not 8.939. The choice H, you get negative 0.98, also not 8939. Sine 60 plus 30 equals 0.8939. That one is correct. Choice J. Now, if you just know your trig identities, that's what this really is about, is knowing your trig identities. You would know that sine, I think let's call it A plus B. I think it's equals sine A cosine. Let's rewrite that where we can run out of space here. Let's try to rewrite it, make it a little bit more efficient here. What is the area of a circle that has a circumference 12 units long? So this will sometimes you'll see as like a question 13 or a question 14. But here it's a question 43. And I don't know why they put it different places in the test. It does depend on you knowing the formulas. So the circumference formula is 2 pi r. That's the circumference formula. So the circumference here, 2 pi r equals 12 pi. Look at our answer choices. It has pi in all the answer choices. So we can actually ignore the pi's, really. They cancel. So 2 pi r, divide both sides by 2, we get r equals 6. Great. Now you have to know the area formula. Pi r squared. Well, we know our radius is 6, so pi 6 squared, or 36 pi. So there's our answer, choice D. Pretty easy question as long as you know your formulas. A barrel contains 25 liters of a solvent mixture that is 40% solvent and 60% water. Lee will add pure solvent to the barrel, so he's going to add solvent without removing any of the mixture currents. The new mixture will be 50% solvent and 50% water. So we want these to match. So let's see how much we have so far. So we have 25 liters total, but of that 25, 40%, so 40 over 100, or 0.4, is solvent. And then, so we're going to add that plus 25 liters, of which 60% is water, 60 over 100, or 0.6. I like to do them as fractions. That way, if you had something that was 2%, say, you don't accidentally write 0.2 because that's 20%. So I like to do these as fractions so you don't make mistakes. So, okay, 25 times 0.4 is 10, and 25 times 0.6 is 15. So how many liters do we have to add to make sure that we have equal amounts of solvent? How many liters? Well, we have to add 5. So plus 5 equals 15. So we have 15 of solvent and 15 of water. So your answer is G. Okay, for all x is not equal plus minus y, what is this equivalent to? So you're getting a common denominator. So we're going to say x over x plus y, and we have to multiply the top and the bottom times x minus y. So x minus y, x minus y. We're going to do the top and the bottom for this side of the equation, and for our other side of the equation, right, plus y over x minus y. We have to get a common denominator, multiply the top and bottom times x plus y. Okay, and so then let's just calculate our bottom. Let's FOIL that out, right, our denominator. So we're going to do it in purple. We get x squared plus xy minus xy minus y squared, which equals x, wow, I'm having trouble writing my letters today, x minus y squared on each one. Okay, over, actually, that would give us our answer now. We see that in choice E, but let's go ahead and calculate it out. So the top numerator is for this side is going to be x squared minus xy plus, well, let's do y squareds first. Y squareds plus, yep, xy. I get confused there for a minute. Xy. So we have minus xy. We have plus xy. Those cancel. So now we have x squared plus y squared over x squared minus y squared, which is choice E. Mary, James, and Carlos sold 1/4 page advertisements for the school yearbook. Mary sold twice as many as Carlos. So Mary sold twice as many as Carlos. James sold 3 times as many as Mary. What fraction did Carlos sell? So Carlos is what we're looking for. So Carlos is X. And Mary sold twice as many as Carlos. So she sold 2X. And James sold 3 times as many as Mary. So James sold 3 times as many as Mary did. And Mary sold 2X. And altogether, we have our total. So we're going to say altogether, that equals 1. So we could just solve this, right? So let's just solve it to start with. X plus 2x plus 3 times 2x, so it's going to be 6x. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 9x equals 1. X equals 1 over 9. And we're looking for x, so your answer is F. You could also work this out once you have this decided here. 1/9, well, 1/9 times 2 is 2/9 plus 3 times 2 times 9 is 6/9. Does that equal a total of 1? So you get 9 over 9, and it does. So this is much a reading problem and deciding which one's X. How do you represent Mary? How do you represent James? Once you get it set up, it's not really a super hard problem. In a window display, there are 3 spots for 1 plant each. So 1, 2, 3 spots. To fill these spots, Emily has 6 plants to choose from, each of a different type. Selecting from the 6 plants, Emily can make how many possible arrangements with 1 plant each spot. So her first spot she has to choose from, she has 6 choices. She's already used 1, so now she only has 5 choices, and then she has 4 choices left. And she doesn't have any more spots, so it's just 6 times 5 times 4, and that is 120. Choice D. What is the area and square coordinate units of triangle MPQ? So MPQ is here. So base times height divided by 2 is area of a triangle, or 1/2 base times height, whichever you're more comfortable with. So our base is 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So our base is 4. Our height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. 4 times 5 divided by 2. So our area is 10 units. So which one is going to give us 10 units? Okay, we're going to represent A and B. A and B. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this is 4, that means that A really has to be like a 1, right? So 4 times 1 is 4. And the B, it looks like it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're 5 units up, so the B will be 1. So 10 times 1 times 1. Right, so 4 times 1 gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 times 1, this is 5B. 5 times 1 gives us 5. So the A and the B are just like 1, right? 5 times 1 is 5. So 10 times 1 times 1 is 10, which is what we're looking for. So our answer has to be G. Don't overthink this one. Point M will remain fixed, and point Q will move to the right, so it's moving in this direction, along the x-axis. As q continues to move right, which the following describes what will happen to the slope of m. So we're going this way, right? So q continues to move. So what's going to happen? What's happening to the slope as we continue to move? Okay, it will decrease and eventually be negative. Well, it's already a negative slope, right? So negative, no slope, positive, negative, no slope, positive. So it's already negative. It will never be positive, right? No matter how far we go, it will never start going this direction because Q is not moving up. So it will never be positive. So eventually be positive? No. Never be negative? It's already negative. It will stay the same? Definitely not. So it has to be D. That's just a concept question of what's positive and negative slope and what's happening to it. One of the following values is equal to f of 5a. So 5a, f of x, 5a, right here. And that's going to be, okay, so the value is 8b. Yep, don't overthink that. Anytime you have a group of questions, like the following 3 questions, like these have been on any part of the test, those are usually easier math questions because you're asked to consider this one shape multiple times. And if you get confused on one of them, you might get confused on all of them. But it's kind of a gift to get these towards the end of the test because they're generally pretty easy.